Hello again. Whenever anybody questions whether immigrants holding British passports and their families differ in any way from white families who have been in the country for 1,000 years or more, there are liable to be howls of outrage and accusations of racial prejudice. Why can't we simply accept that black people are loyal citizens in just the same way that we are? If there were a war, they would volunteer to fight for this country as readily as any white English person. That goes without saying. I have long been dubious about this idea because I have observed that young people whose parents come to this country from Pakistan or Jamaica very often identify themselves as Jamaican or Pakistani rather than British. This is the case even when they were born in this country, and I don't believe for a moment that any black person feels the same way about Britain as I do. My connection with the country runs very deep because my father and grandfathers fought for it, and all my family, going back as far as the 17th century, were born here. England is in my blood. It takes a good deal more than one or two generations to create such a deep attachment to the land. I was reflecting on this when I saw photographs and films of crowds of Londoners celebrating the Platinum Jubilee yesterday. After all, white British people are a minority in the capital, so one might have thought that many of the black people who are citizens, just the same as me, would have been celebrating. The only thing is, if you look at a photograph of the crowd outside Buckingham Palace yesterday, you will not see any black people at all. Even in parts of London where there are very many black people, most of them with British passports, they're not present in the pictures. The thumbnail to this video shows a crowd of people celebrating the Jubilee in the London borough of Lambeth, where no fewer than a quarter of the inhabitants are black. You know, Brixton, Streatham and so on. Clearly the Queen is not as important to her as it is to us white folks. Some of the photographs taken in London show Indians in the crowds because many Indians are more patriotic than we are, but I'm guessing that Pakistanis and Bangladeshis aren't around. I mention this because, of course, the Queen is head of state, not only in this country, but she's the head of two of the Commonwealth countries in the Caribbean and Africa, Ghana, Kenya, Nigeria and the rest. What is happening is that loyal citizens are slowly but surely being replaced by people who have been granted passports through a technicality of the law and have no real interest in this country or its traditions, other, that is, than its providing free health care and other benefits and a higher standard of living generally than the places where they were themselves born. I don't for a moment believe that anybody can be truly British unless they were born in this country to parents whose own grandparents were born here. Alas, this rather, at least by my definition, rules out every black person in the country.